Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, what you know about bench mob? They're speaking the facts that you wanna hear. They rep a jersey, the vision is clear. Diamonds glisten like a chandelier. You know what I'm here for, like Marshawn Lynch. At clutch time, we do not flinch. Real brothers, we do not switch. Hit home runs with the right pitch. Who run the city? What to do when they hating on you? I feel like Kobe 2010. Taking an L, all I need is a win. Business is business, you know how they go. They clearing the seats, now it's time to grow. Tune in now, gotta be in the know. Showtime, bitch, my about to blow. We know.
That's the welcome I get.
Welcome back to another episode of the Bench Mob Podcast. We got the full squad here today. Well, it's tonight. Full squad here. Chris is back from living his best life. We got Greg in the building, Miles. We appreciate all y'all that's listeners, the sponsors, the subscribers, everybody. Chris, welcome back. How you doing tonight?
I'm doing good. Feeling rejuvenated. You know, got that good R&R in this past weekend. Took a little Cali trip. I know y'all see the tan too. Got that good sun in. So we good, man. We was on some beaches, but happy to be back with y'all.
Rich.
Greg. Yeah, money bags.
Money bags.
Greg, hot takes, debate your mother. Matt's doing well. Francisco Lindor, 10-year contract. How are you doing tonight?
Life is real good, man. Life is good all around. Life is good with sports. Life is good personally, man. I'm doing good. I'm getting alcohol galore right these days. I got an expensive bottle of scotch. I'm gonna dig into this weekend. I got some rosé. Man, listen.
Oh, you a drinker?
Getting it. Well, yeah, all of that. It's not like that. I'm gonna save some of these bottles when my fiance get up here, so we can enjoy some of this festivities.
You got a whole fiance now. Okay.
Word, and you saving the liquor. You drunk in love. Like I said, Greg's probably gonna have one before me. It's gonna be that night when she come up.
No, I get you. There's some wood nearby. Wow.
Miles, Mr. Wholesome. My hairline is always on point. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing good, guys.
Yo, so where y'all want to start? We got NFL. We got Russell Westbrook and his wife going at Stephen A. We got KD going at Michael Rappaport. We got people talking about, hey, I'm choosing Mac Jones over Fields. Where y'all want to start tonight?
I personally want to start with KD and Rap. That's what.
Let's get it.
Let's get it. What was your initial response from seeing this? I'll tell you mine. When it was sent to me and Miles, one of our homies, he sent it to us, and my first reaction was like, "Yo, this got to be a joke. This isn't something real. Like, nah, Michael Rappaport probably just doctored these messages or something like that." And then KD confirmed it on Twitter. I said, "Oh, nah, there's something different." The league, and like 10 minutes after that, league is like, "All right, we're investigating it."
Mm-hmm.
I think just to save face, the league is probably going to punish him. I think Michael Rappaport is extremely corny for releasing it. And even before this, I didn't think that joke was funny, and I still don't think he's funny now.
Mm-hmm.
Greg, what was your initial takes from it?
I see everybody online talking about Rappaport's a snitch. He's a rat. He's this and that. Yeah, he's all that. I totally agree. And I don't disagree. I don't like Rappaport. He's an agitator. This is what he does. He tries to get under guys' skin. He goes after Bron. He goes after KD. He just goes and talks trash to get a reaction. This is the only thing he's known for now. I actually don't know why he's famous. Like, I don't know why. I only know him because he does this stuff like this. So it makes a lot of sense. My issue is not with Rappaport, though. It's with KD. Yo, KD has had an issue with social media for forever. Okay, let's call a spade a spade. He had the burner fiasco he got caught up with. Making those burner accounts got him in trouble when he was in OKC and still with the Warriors, right? Actually with the Warriors, really, when he made the transition and he was defending himself online from the haters and all that stuff. which was ridiculous. And you would think he would slow down and learn this lesson from that. And instead, he goes at Michael Rappaport in his DMs like he's some random dude. Like he's just another guy. Like you're KD, you can't do that, bro. There was no way it wasn't gonna get out one way or another. Rappaport was, I'm sure he was sitting on him just thinking, all right, cool, I got this ammunition. He came crazy. He's talking about my wife, even though he didn't say anything disrespectful, like in particular. He's coming left. He was coming crazy. And I'm not saying that Rappaport's right. I'm not justifying it. What I am saying is KD can't be operating like a 16-year-old on Twitter and
right.
IG. That don't make any sense. You are worth billions. He's worth billions of dollars. He's gonna be a billionaire. He's a Hall of Famer. He's one of the most famous people in the world, one of the most influential people in the world. He's big into tech. He's dipping into all different types of industries. So for him to be on here, and I hate to take the grown man stance to all this. I know we can have fun with it and just say KD's like that. I saw a lot of that too. KD's like that. Don't mess with KD. Yeah, all that's true. But there's a price to pay for that kind of stuff when you are as famous as he is. And you think about all the other stars in the NBA. How often does stuff like this happen? When do you see Bron get in trouble like this? We're gonna make the comparison. When does Bron do stuff like this? You know how many guys? Bron could be in Skip's DMs talking all crazy too, talking about he'll spit on his face. Guess what he didn't do? Any of that. Like it's really important. It's bad for the brand. He's got a bunch of kids that buy his jerseys, and don't think for a second. And I'm gonna bring it back to my favorite thing. Don't think for a second that as a black man in America, that these white people that support you on a big scale are not going to start kind of veering away from you, and they'll use whatever they can to get away from you, man. Like that's what it is. All you are is a guy who's a ball in a basket for their favorite team. When you give them a reason to kind of steer away from you and stop buying your jerseys and stop buying your stuff, guess what they'll do? This is a much bigger, this is a 35,000 foot view, but it's real. It's real. It's a real thing. And I don't think KD's life is going to change dramatically from this. It's a minor, it's not a minor thing, but it's minor in terms of the effect it'll have on him initially anyways. But like this stuff does matter. Like he got to carry himself like you're worth billions of dollars, and not, he's not some kid at high school, bro. He's not dealing with a heckler. This ain't Rucker Park. He wasn't in person. Like it's crazy to me. It's crazy to me. Like, he's still out here acting like that on Twitter and social media, like he's just a random guy. He's KD. Come on now.
I'd like to quote my man Aubrey Graham. I'm the bigger artist, always gotta play it smarter. That's definitely just the case for KD. I don't think it's fair though compare him to LeBron. LeBron is obviously on a different level. LeBron has been extremely professional from 18. Like he's done everything basically right, except the whole transition of, hey, I'm gonna make a decision and I aired it on TV and all that. Outside of that, LeBron has played everything right. So that's not the best comparison and fair to KD, because I'm pretty sure LeBron just doesn't say it's not. You're not going to hear it. No, but yeah. I'm sure LeBron has some words for Skip with his crew, like, this.
Sure.
I don't know if he's going to say come guzzling like KD decided to choose.
I was only saying.
Yeah, he said some sideways stuff.
Yes, but I'm saying it from the standpoint that these guys are both of the same stature. They're both extremely famous. LeBron's more famous than KD, but like it's close. So in terms of the way he handles himself, why would you not try to handle yourself the same way? I know that KD may not get along with LeBron the best these days, and Kyrie and them, they got their little beef now, whatever it is. But it's just a good example to follow, is what I'm saying. Like it doesn't make sense to be out there on Twitter acting like you're just some random dude who got nothing to lose. You have everything to lose. You literally have everything to lose. Like it's crazy. So he's lucky he didn't say nothing, a slur or nothing like that in there. He's lucky he didn't throw anything in there that could have offended any particular group. He was out there just talking his stuff. And that's bad, but he dodged the bullet for real. Let the wrong thing slide. It could have been a problem.
Hey, this is all facts. Miles, Moneybags, y'all have any thoughts on KD, Michael Rappaport, and the situation?
I mean, I gotta agree with Greg. I mean, I think we're all disappointed by the way KD acted, right? I mean, you're the face of, you're in a similar position as LeBron, like Greg said, as people look at you as one of the faces of the NBA, and definitely the face of the Brooklyn Nets, even though he's out right now. But at the same time, like, you've been in the league a long time. You've had people talk about you all types of disrespectful when you went to the Warriors, and when you built that super team, and you didn't come at them any type of way. And like Greg said, Michael Rappaport, he's an actor. but he's also a big social media agitator. And that's what he does. He comes at people left and right. He came at Trump. All those videos blew up and whatnot when Trump was president, and they were funny. But at the same time, like, Michael Rappaport, man, you're corny for posting it. But at the same time, like, you can't blame him because that's what he's built his career off of. He's just doing what he normally does, and it just happened to be KD that got caught up in the mix. So KD, as an NBA player and as, a grown man, like, yeah, I'm sure we all got heated and, like, exchanged words and stuff over messages and whatnot. But you can't really – I mean, you can be mad at KD, but at the same time, it's like, damn, Michael Rappaport's a snitch.
Oh, yeah.
Sure. Yeah, I'm pretty sure if KD would do it again and in his mindset, he wasn't thinking that it was going to be released.
Right.
So
I did, before we switch off the topic, I did think it was kind of you could tell KD was lying a little bit when he was like, oh, he sent that tweet out like, oh, really, Mike? We talk like this on the regular and now you're going to get pissed? I don't think they talk like that often. I think that was just trying to be like, let me try to save some face real quick and make it seem like me and Mike are boys and we were just beefing, because Mike Rappaport came back and he was like, stop lying. We do not talk often. Like, we don't ever exchange messages like this. Stop capping.
Hey, man.
Mike is what he is. Like, let's not.
Yeah, that's what he's built his career off of.
That doesn't get lost. Yeah, that doesn't get lost in any of this. It doesn't get lost in any of this. It's just that when you're KD, you gotta take the high road. As annoying as it is, it's as hard as it must be. And I don't think I'd be able to do it. I wouldn't be able to do it. I'm judging from I'm throwing rocks from down below here because I wouldn't be able to do that. I'm going right back there.
But I mean, you even look at LeBron when that finals where I believe it was Clay decided to use choice words of what he called LeBron.
Mm-hmm.
And they asked him about an interview, and LeBron said the exact thing. He said, I've been taking the high road for 14 years. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to do it again right here. So it's not the easiest thing. That's why we give so much kudos and respect to LeBron, because he's a businessman on and off the court. And you're never going to hear stuff like that. You're never going to hear how he really feels about certain situations. Who knows? Maybe 15 years from now, we get a LeBron doc like Michael gave, and he really tell you how he felt about Skip.
Right.
And he really tell you, hey, Stephen A., bruh,
I
wasn't really rocking with you. So
it's coming.
I respect that from him, because a lot of people, like you said, a lot of people at some point just like, all right, you know what? F it. I'm going to really tell you how I feel.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking of Stephen A., Stephen A. came out and said, Russ, who as of now tonight, I think this is now his 3 straight games, my man has had a triple-double. Stephen A. basically came out and said, the triple-doubles don't matter. You don't got a ring. We know you can get a triple-double. The ring is what is most important. Russ and his wife spoke up. Shout out to his wife, that queen, speaking up for her man, tagging Stephen A. in every post she did, basically coming back at Stephen A. like, I made it to the NBA. That's my championship. That's what matters. I help out my community. I do the other things that's more important. Championships do not define me. You don't define me. What was your initial takes from it? You agree with Stephen A.? Was Stephen A. wrong? Do you agree with Russ's perspective? Miles, started off for us.
I mean, Stephen A. he can come off as a hater sometimes. And I mean, as the years go on, it feels like he targets certain players a little bit. Like Russ, he kind of always shows hate. And even in one of the best moments, like when does anyone ever get a 35-point, 20 assist triple-double ever? It's nearly impossible unless you're Russell Westbrook. Like LeBron's not really going to do that because it's not going to happen. But
why doesn't it happen?
Huh?
Why doesn't it happen? Why doesn't Brown do that?
I mean, he's not. I get what you
go ahead.
He's not hunting the stats. He's not hunting the stats.
Uh-huh.
Let me sit up. Nah, but he seems to poke the bear a little bit, and it's like you could just show love. It's a regular season game. It's elite status that Russ is continually reaching with each triple-double that he gets. But he always brings it back to he doesn't have a championship, which I get. I mean, there's a lot of guys out there that don't have a championship. You praise Damian Lillard, but he hasn't made it to the finals ever. So it's like, it almost feels like kind of when Shaq was targeting JaVale McGee, other guys like Donovan Mitchell, it's like a little hate, low-key hate. Because I feel like he does that with Russ, with KD a little bit too. Ever since that move from OKC to Golden State, it's always been a little hate added in there in every take that he has. So it's like, you don't have to be like this, Stephen A. I mean, I know you're getting paid the big bucks, but that doesn't mean that you get a pass every time you come on the air.
I think it was the wrong timing. I don't think per se anything, like, I get what he was saying. I don't think anything was wrong with what he said per se. The timing of it, as you said, after having a game like that, which was historic, you decide to point that out. And nobody, including Stephen A., nobody in Washington, not Joe Biden, not Trump, nobody thought Washington was going to be anywhere near a championship with him coming there. So this season, whatever he does is what he does. It's greatness. Yeah, I wasn't expecting it to be a championship in Washington. He mentioned, oh, you had Bradley Beal as a teammate now, Harden, all these other teammates. He's had great teammates. With Bradley Beal being his teammate this year, ain't nothing coming of it. Come on, we knew that though. So I think his timing of saying that is where it comes off as hate.
Yeah, I mean, look, I don't disagree with anything Stephen A. Smith said because, like him or dislike him, he was stating facts, period. Russell Westbrook is a champion off the court, maybe not on the court, but he's definitely a champion off the court, like he said. But at the same time, no one was debating that. No one was talking about that. Him kind of bringing that up is irrelevant. But we're talking about basketball. If you're looking at his basketball stats, like, the man's getting paid a lot of money. And when you get paid that much money, I think he's getting paid $206 million over 5 years, which is damn near $41 million a season. You are expected to bring a championship to whatever team you're on that's paying you that money. Now, we get it. The Washington Wizards situation wasn't necessarily his choice, got traded there. But at the same time, like, him getting triple doubles, this isn't anything new. He's been getting triple doubles. He's been doing that his whole career. When he was an MVP, he's one of the most athletic point guards we've ever seen. Like, him doing that, like, it's almost expected of him. And I think that's the point that Stephen A. Smith was trying to make. And at the same time, like, did he say it wrong? Did he say it at bad timing? Absolutely. I think Stephen A. Smith has a way of phrasing it to grab headlines, to get attention, right? He does it in that way on purpose. Yes, he does it in that way on purpose to draw attention to the fact of the point that he's trying to make. You know, he used big words like blasphemy and all that thing, right? So when he's talking about Russell Westbrook in this manner, you know, he said it in a way like, we're not worried about him getting triple doubles. Who cares if, you know, he did it three nights in a row at the same time? And again, it was probably really bad timing. He could have waited till whenever the next day or whatever to bring that up and brought it up like, hey man, he could have did it the opposite of what he did it. Like, give respect first and then say, but hey Russ, you know, at the same time, it's great what you're doing, but hey, we're looking for a championship at this point with the salary that you're getting. And, you know, you've been to 4 conference finals already, and you got sent home by James. You got sent home by Damian Lillard already at the same time. But I do have a problem with Stephen A. Smith in this sense when Miles brought up a good point about Damian Lillard. He want to praise Damian Lillard all day long from pulling up from the parking lot and getting these 40-point, 50-point games. But, hey, Dame in the same boat. Dame ain't bring no championship to Portland yet, and yet you're giving him praise. So I do think there's a little type of hate that he may have for Russ for whatever reason, whatever the case may be, because you don't see him talking crazy about Dame and other guys like that who ball out of their mind.
Either.
Yeah, dude, right, dudes that ball out of their mind all the time, but don't have a championship. You don't hear him talking crazy like this, but you know it's maybe I don't know what the case is, but I kind of agree with him a little bit with, you know, Russell at this point. MVP, not MVPs,
triple doubles.
Triple doubles. It ain't really nothing new for Russell Westbrook. That's what he's been doing his whole career, so it's kind of expected. What would you take, Greg?
Well.
Yeah, he about to get in his bag right now.
It's really funny that y'all started making the Dame comparison because I wasn't even gonna go there, but I'm happy you did. Let me backtrack real quick, but I'll get there. Stephen A.
Buckle up, everybody. Buckle up.
Stephen A. came off as a hater. Yes, I tell everybody. I say this on the show all the time. Like, yo, I don't listen to Stephen A. Smith. I don't put no stock in anything he says. Not because he's not credible, because he's an agitator, just like Rappaport. He really is. Just does it in a different style, different way. He's more professional about it. But he's an agitator. He says things, get under people's skin. He does it for a reaction. His wife responding to him was the best thing that could happen for first take. That I'm sure that next show the ratings were crazy. That guy is a master of his craft. He knows what he's doing. He knows how to get reactions out of people. That being said, yes, Steve, you see that what you said was right, bro. He was right about everything he said about Russell Westbrook. And he didn't come crazy. I actually thought when I first heard the story and I didn't realize what had happened, I thought that he said something and he came left on the show. He talked about, Russ in a derogatory way. When I heard his wife start back at him, I thought that's what it was. When I heard in his comments, I was like, oh, this is normal. This is fine. Like I didn't take any, there's nothing offensive about this. He's absolutely right. He said, but back to your point, him saying it after the guy gets a triple double and he gets like a 20 assist game, right? Comes off as him hating, and he did it on purpose that way to draw attention to what he was saying, because he said it about Russell before, so it wouldn't have gotten the attention it gotten if he said it in a normal way, right? That being said, Russell, like the biggest thing about Russell Westbrook, my problem with him is he never evolved his game since he got to the NBA. If you really think about it, you go back to him coming from UCLA, starting out his career. Yes, his numbers got better, his field goal percentage got better, his shot selection got a little better, but at times his game is erratic. His game is erratic. He can go on tears where he takes really bad shots, and he takes them at really inopportune times. He lost to rookie Donovan Mitchell with PG on his team. Like, what? He was getting $40 million a year at that time. He lost the 3-1 series to Steph too. It was people talk about KD for that, right? It was him too. He had just as much to do with that losing that series as KD did. It wasn't just the KD thing, right? Like the reason why it didn't work in OKC between KD and Russ, as much as people hate KD, it was Russ's fault. It was his fault. They were struggling with the pecking order there. Russ was they were taking turns, taking big shots into the games. And it worked. They won games in the regular season. But in the playoffs, guess who needs to have the ball in his hands? KD. KD did. And there's always been this really selfish nature about Russell Westbrook. I know Brad said he's the best teammate he ever had. I'm sure he's a great dude. He's a champion in life. He's a great dude. He's a great player. I'm not taking nothing away from him. What I am saying is, when you go out there and get 20 assists and 20 rebounds and 20 points, your stat padding. You can't debate it. It's nearly impossible to do in a game. It's incredibly impressive. To have done it more than once in your career is incredible. It's an incredible feat. But you're playing for yourself. All right. Even if you're past all these guys and they're making shots, and they may not feel that way. They may not. I'm sure some guys in the league feel this way. They don't say it. It's definitely selfish. It's definitely because LeBron can do that anytime he wants, but he doesn't. Because it's not about his numbers. Like that's not what he's there for. So my problem with Russ, and it's always been that, is that he has not evolved his game. Now, if you're gonna talk about the Dame comparison, I'm gonna get there right now. Dame is better than Russ. Dame is better than Russ ever was. Period. I don't think it's close. I don't think you can say it's close, sure. I don't think it's that close. Dame is more efficient. He takes his shots are more valuable. He can hit because of his 3-point shooting. That alone, that makes him more valuable on the court. The way he spreads the floor for his teammates, that makes him more valuable. The reason why Dame isn't winning a championship isn't because of him. It's not his fault. He hasn't broke anything up. Guys love playing with Dame. It is debatable whether or not guys love playing with Russ. All right, it just is. But Dame, the reason why they're not winning, we know this, because they don't want to break up him and CJ McCollum and get him a wing player. And they don't want to, they're not doing what they need to do in that front office to make sure that they can win games. That is the bottom line. And I mean win games in the playoffs. They're a good regular season team, they're cute, but every year we know they have a ceiling. That team has a ceiling, they top out. But Dame is incredible. And I think he's a better player than Russ ever was. So that's the reason why you don't hear him going at him as much. We can say whatever we want about Stephen A. Smith. He really does know basketball. He picks his battles and he says things that agitate you, but he does know basketball because if you asked him, I'm sure if you asked that guy, he'd probably tell you Dame's better because he is. Dame outplayed him head to head and sent him home. That wasn't no mistake. That wasn't, you know what I'm saying? Like it's so I love Russ. I love Russ as a player. He's fun to watch. He banged on Biyombo. That was incredible. He's the most athletic point guard of all time. I don't even think it's that close at all. But he has some warts in his game. He has warts in his game. He has warts on the resume. Losing to rookie Donovan Mitchell and that 6 game, taking every shot you possibly could. I remember game 6 in Utah. I remember that. And I remember him taking like 30 or 40 shots, shooting like 20% from the field. Pull up the film. That was a horrible performance. And he's done stuff like that before throughout his career, and he's just too erratic. His game is erratic. There's not enough control to it. He hasn't evolved enough throughout his career. So that's why we're here. There's expectations. I don't care about triple doubles as much. You're right. It's watered down to me. I think the reason why we have the narrative about triple doubles being watered down is because of Russ. That's his effect. That's a big effect he's had on the game. It really is. Because whether people want to say it or not, that's everyone's thinking it. You know it subconsciously. If you know basketball, you know what Russ's awards are, and that's one of them. He does play for himself a little bit.
And I want to ask y'all this: the ring culture. Do you think we go too far, and do you think there's inconsistency on how it's used in the media? Certain players, you hold them to that standard. Other players, they get a pass. What about the ring culture? Because honestly, if we talk about it and keep it a stack, a part of the super teams, a part of people leaving is because the media has put such an importance on getting championships. Basically, you could average 35 for your whole career and you didn't get a ring, you're second tier. You can't be in the conversation with the greats.
It's true. I think sometimes it's warranted for some superstars. The ring conversation for Russell Westbrook is warranted because he was in position to win a ring and did not. And he played a big part in the reason why they lost that series. That's it. You can't lose a 3-1 lead, bro. It's inexcusable. It just is. So yeah, it's fair in that perspective, but you're right. Like a guy like Devin Booker, for example, he may never win a ring. He may never win one. And he's incredible. He's an incredible player, but they're gonna guilt him into joining a super team at some point, or maybe he'll stay in Phoenix and be on some ride or die stuff like Dame's going to be and with the Trailblazers, and they're not going to remember him the way that they should. You know what I mean? It bothers guys like Charles. Charles is not remembered the way he should be. That's the nature of the NBA. That's been the history of the NBA. If you don't win a ring, they don't remember your game the way it should be remembered. You don't get the respect you deserve. I don't think that the media fostered this environment. I think fans did. I think fans do. I think it's the fan problem. I don't think it's a media problem. Fans heckle these guys in their comments. Fans DM these guys. Fans mention them on Twitter, talk about you don't got a ring. That's why Shaq comes off as the old man and the hater, because people don't, and like Shaq's won rings, but like people really don't realize how great that man was. Like it's a lot of that. It's a lot of fan pressure. It's fan generated pressure, and the media buys into it, and they really push that narrative out there when they're on their platform. That's really what I think it is. Media has a big part to do with it for sure. But that's the reason why we're seeing the buyout market play out the way it does. Drummond takes less money to go play for the Lakers. Why? Because he knows if I win a ring, there's more opportunities for me off the court after the fact. And I'm not going to get heckled as much if I win a ring here. Like, that's the reality of it. Like, that's what it is. So it's a peer pressure environment. But is it fair? No. A lot of great players don't win rings, and that it doesn't define you. But
hey, Miles, you had him for a couple of years. You saw it firsthand. I'm sure he was at a couple of games. When it comes to this ring culture conversation, before we transition, talk to me on how you feel about it when it comes to Melo. I had Brett on last night. He said it shouldn't be the same type of standard for Melo because Melo isn't a superstar.
Not a superstar? I mean, not anymore, but he was.
That's what I was saying.
Say he was?
Was he saying he never was? Or was he saying he is not anymore? What was he saying? Because this is interesting.
I believe, if I understood him correctly, he was saying he was a star, not a superstar.
Oh, I've heard this before. I've heard it
before too.
I've heard this before. This is a common thing. Go ahead, Miles. Say your piece, Mr. Nick 205.
Sit up.
Oh my God. I mean, Melo's been getting the slander for years, and I mean, it went left in New York because they didn't surround him with the right pieces. I mean, he was runner-up for MVP the year they were the second seed in the East, playing with guys like Tyson Chandler, and his point guard was Raymond Felton. So it's like, what more does the guy have to do to prove that he's a superstar in this league? Like he's been a bucket. He's been to conference finals with the Nuggets too. So it's like, not everybody's gonna get a chance to win a ring. Like he's not ring chasing. He went to Portland. Who goes to Portland by choice? Like it was almost like either go there or fizzle out. So, and he's shown that he can still play, but I don't get where that guy's coming from saying that he was never a superstar. Because if you watch Melo play, you know that he was a superstar.
You think he should be held to, since he's a superstar in your eyes, should he be held to that standard of Melo needs to get a ring?
I think he's been held to that standard. I mean, it might have tapered off a little bit because he's not that level of player anymore. Like if he was still the number one on a team, of course he'd be catching flack, but he's like a role player on the Trailblazers now. So it's like,
right.
It's almost like, all right, if he gets a ring, we applaud him. It's kind of like Nas getting a Grammy this year. It's like, it's well deserved. We thought it would come sooner than this, but shout out to him. It's in that same vein. That's how I see it.
Well, I don't know. We'll have to really dive deeper into that. That's definitely a conversation for next episode. The difference between stars and superstars, because it is a very, very debated topic. I've heard both sides of it. A lot of people say that Melo isn't a superstar. A lot of people say he's just a star. So we'll talk about that next episode. We'll get deeper into that and we'll list some more names because Melo not the only one that's been thrown under the bus with that conversation. Transition, flag on the play. First one, Danny Ainge admits some Celtics players don't want to get the COVID-19 vaccine, accept or decline.
I think that's league-wide, though. I think a lot of guys are hesitant about getting it. So, I mean, I accept it, but it's not really like a quarrel about it. There's always going to be hesitancy about getting a vaccine, especially in a league that's predominantly black and things that have happened in the past. So we'll see what happens. That's why Stephen A. wants guys to come out and come forward and say, I got the vaccine. So not to put pressure on other guys, but it's like, oh, if LeBron gets the vaccine, then what makes you more not as susceptible to getting the virus than LeBron James?
With Stephen A. with that thing, before you go, Greg, that just really feels like the people upstairs say this. That gives me so much of the vibe because we know if we could get LeBron to do it, the whole league is rocking with it. LeBron is the face of the league. LeBron is the big brother. That's head honcho. You got Giannis still saying, hey, it's LeBron. LeBron's still the greatest player in the NBA right now.
He's right.
I don't like that he said that, bro, honestly. And
not for the
kudos to LeBron, bro. You're not pressuring LeBron. Stop it.
No, bro. This is a bigger societal issue. This is bigger than sports. I always tell people this. You're not going to be able to go anywhere without getting this vaccine down the line. Can't travel abroad without it. Your kids aren't going to be able to go to school without it when school's back in session. You're going to start seeing that. Like you're going to get left behind if you don't take this vaccine. And I don't think it's sitting right with a lot of people is what it is because of the general distrust people have for the government, especially black people. And the league is what, 80% black? That's where we're at. That's what it is. So this is a societal issue. It's not a basketball issue. It's a basketball issue in the sense that they can't go to their business without these guys getting the vaccine. They like to play these games in Mexico. They like to play these games in London. You can't travel abroad. China, how you going to go abroad? You can't get these guys overseas and promote your game without these guys getting the vaccine. And I don't think any of these guys have a problem with that. They don't care about that. They care about being healthy. They care about making sure they're good. And like y'all said, if Bron got it, the league would follow suit. Because Pat Bev put it best, like when Bron says something, we move. And that's really what it is. But Bron, him being as careful as about what he puts into his body and him not doing it is the ultimate indictment on this whole thing for them. Like, all right, look, we know no one's going to take better care of themselves than LeBron is. So guess what we're not going to do? We're not going to move until Bron moves here. Maybe there's a lot of that going on. There could be that. And then there's just the general distrust going on with the government too. So it's tough, but it's definitely a bigger deal than people are even making it. It's brewing under the surface. There's a whole battle here. It's going to turn into a whole thing. But wait till this off season. It'll be a player association battle. They're gonna have to duke it out with Silver.
Hey, but Braun said he's gonna keep that decision between him and his family. So he might have he might have the vaccine already. We just don't know. He might be keeping that on the low. Like he not, you know what I mean? He might not want his, like, that's a lot of pressure to have on yourself. Be like, all right, if I get the vaccine, is everybody else in the league gonna get the vaccine? I don't want that pressure on me. He's like, I'm gonna get the vaccine and keep my mouth quiet. He's like, I'll let them do what they want to do. I mean, that's a personal decision you got to make for yourself. You can't make that decision based off, one person getting the vaccine. Just because their body, they're a freak, right? So, yeah, I mean, for all we know, Braun might already have that vaccine.
Yeah, like Greg said, though, at some point we'll see it within the next couple months. To do life, you're going to probably have to get the vaccine. They're already talking about, I know at Rutgers, just for example, in the fall, if you staying on campus and stuff, you got to have that vaccine. So if Rutgers doing it, it's only a matter of time before everything else is doing it, traveling, anything like that. So it's just a matter of time. We just hope that the vaccine is the safest as possible. And the only thing that's the major concern too with these new strands, it doesn't protect against that. So it's a lot to go into that decision.
If you hear anyone who talks about taking the vaccine and what their concerns are, the concerns about the effects it's going to have on you 10 years down the line, not tomorrow. Right. So and that's fair. That's a fair concern, yo. They're not crazy for that, but it's tough because it's unfair that they're going to be put in a position where they can't do regular life things without getting the vaccine. That's not fair. The pressure to return to your job, your office, right? Like, you got to go back to work. So you got to get the vaccine before you can go back to work, or else you can't get this bread. When it starts affecting people's pockets, they're going to be forced into doing it. It's not fair the way it's all shaken. And sometimes life isn't. But that's a bigger societal issue that we're going to see play out. It's not just in the NBA. It's going to be a thing that we're going to see play out all across the board. So
yes, sir. Next one. DeMarcus Cousins, Boogies, is going to get a 10-day contract to the Los Angeles Clippers, which now puts him as one of the only players to play for all of the California teams, except for the Klein.
That's actually pretty funny. The only player to play for every single California team, you said?
Sacramento, Lakers, Clippers, Warriors,
and the Kansas story.
Hey, he better. We talked about it. He better ball in this 10-day because if this goes south, he might be donezo.
He's already donezo.
I know, but I'm saying, like, with all the injuries he's had, like, he's always been given like chance after chance after chance. We talked about this maybe a month and a half ago. Like, if he gets injured again, it's done for him. Like, it's curtains. Like, no more 10-day contracts, no more nothing. Like, you sitting at home, you retired, you find another gig. Like, he got a boy. Yeah, I'm going to pray for him.
Facts. Y'all don't think he's a better option than Zubac and Ibaka?
No.
Sheesh.
No, he can't play defense. He can't play defense. He can't run. He doesn't rim run. He doesn't do the basketball's heading in a new direction, bro. Like, I don't want to throw the ball to a dude who's going to post up 50 times a game. And I know he can shoot the ball or whatever, but the way Boogie was eating in those days with the Pelicans, early days with the Kings, post-ups, high usage, post-ups, hitting three-point shots, and even isolating sometimes on the outside, like even dribbling, like driving, like he was doing all that. His game's not catered to today's NBA, where there's an emphasis on perimeter shooting with your guards and your wings. So no, like he's not a better fit than even Zubac now. It's actually crazy. He's better at He's a better basketball player than Zubac. If you go to the park, he's gonna kick Zubac's butt in a one-on-one. He's better, but he's not a better fit for an NBA system than Zubac is. There's no system that needs him to do what he did 5 years ago. So there is no comeback. And it's really sad because he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory. That's where he was at. And he got hurt. And it just goes to show you the shelf life in the NBA and pro sports is really short. Take advantage of it while you can. Get that bread while you can. Because Isaiah Thomas is another good example. He's another good example. It's really go hand in hand with both of them. Ain't nobody need Isaiah Thomas to do what he was doing with Boston anymore. They don't need it. Like,
it's for both of them. It's curtains for both of them.
It's really sad. That's how short your shelf life is. And you know what? Boogie should be happy because you know what? His contract was guaranteed when he got that extension. That was what it was. But when Isaiah got hurt, it was right before the bad came. The Brinks truck never made it. He kept saying back of the Brinks truck. That junk hit a curb and never made it. And so he
got a flat tire on the way.
He got caught a flat tire on the way. That's what happened. It got hit up like they do in GTA. They get that cash off it. They hit a lick. That's what happened, bro. And it's all Danny Ainge's fault. But it's sad, man. It's a sad story. But nah, man, he's not a fit for an NBA system anymore. Like what team needs him doing that? I don't need him doing that. Yo, Drummond, same thing, bro. I don't need you posting up like that, bro. Like that's not your job. I told y'all. How you supposed to be getting another night without Bron there? Not that many. Y'all see. I will see, bro.
Don't want to get in his IT feed.
I know it's the IT, but yo, it's so true, bro. It's the proof's in the pudding, bro. These NBA execs tell you how they feel, bro. That's what it is. It's the same thing with Russell Westbrook. They want to take it back there. Why did no one trade for him? If he's so great, why did no one trade for him? Because they don't think he's worth $40 million. He's a buyout candidate in a couple of years. Give it a couple of years. They're going to buy him out. And then they're going to do him dirty. His career's going to end dirty. Watch, bro. I'm telling you, because teams don't need that. I don't need you to give me 20 assists. No. Can you give me a playoff win? Can you?
Are you speaking facts? I can't even argue with you. I can't even argue with you.
They tell you how they feel about you. IT's not in the league right now. He's still on the couch. He's still working hard, talking about what's your slogan? Slow grind. That grind been mad slow for mad long.
That's you coming disrespectful.
It's not disrespectful, bro. It's just the truth. I love Isaiah Thomas. Bro. He's a lefty. I love Isaiah Thomas.
He said slow grind. That grind been mad slow for mad long. That's disrespectful as hell.
No, bro, it's true. I'm not on some Ant Edwards stuff right now.
Isaiah Thomas gonna be in the league next year. He gonna sign a 10-day.
A 10-day. He was a top 3 MVP candidate a couple years ago, bro. It's not Isaiah Thomas's fault. It's not his fault. Danny Ainge is the one to blame. You know what is sad too? He had to come out and kiss Danny Ainge's butt every time he gets a chance to see if he can get a chance to leave. He can't make no enemies. He's not in a position where he can make enemies. So he'll go, oh, I want to go back to the Celtics. No, you don't. You want to get back in the league. You don't want to go back to the Celtics. They ruined you. They screwed you. That's what happened. The Celtics screwed him. He was on a Hall of Fame trajectory too. And he might have been a borderline candidate. I mean, we know who knows how many more good years he had left. You know what I'm saying? Like he made all-star teams. Like, nah, bro. It doesn't sit right with the way his career ended, but it's acceptance. This is the final stage of grief. Acceptance. Boogie's done. Boogie's not boogieing no more. You know what I'm saying? Isaiah Thomas, he on that slow that grind came to a halt. He's still grinding, but like it's just there's no results here. And it's sad. It's really sad, but it's true.
Transitioning to the next one, flag on the play. Dan Orvalsky was asked about why he thinks Justin Fields has dropped. I'm going to read y'all what he said.
Oh, I love this.
One, I have heard that he is a last guy in, first guy out type of quarterback. Like, not the maniacal work ethic. I've even heard it compared to Justin Herbert, where it was like, dude, when Justin Herbert showed up, he was like a psychopath when it came to working and getting ready for the draft. Or even at school, like, give me more. I want to work nonstop. And I've heard that there are issues with Justin Fields' work ethic. The second thing is, where is his desire to be a great quarterback? I think that there's a desire to be a big-time athlete from what is expressed to me, but where's his desire to be a great quarterback? And if he's great, you got to be willing to find things that you are not good at and just freaking grind on. Now, he did come out today and he apologized, saying that the sources that he had lied to him, and it's believed maybe because they were trying to have Justin Fields drop in the draft. He said that he spoke to Ohio State personally, and Ohio State, who actually coached him, said he has a good work ethic. His reports aren't true.
Hold up, Greg. Let me go. Because
I have to explode.
This the problem that I have with these reporters, man. There's too many apologies going on right now. Way too many apologies going on. Get it right the first time. If you want the facts and if you want the answer, go to Justin Fields. Hey, how are you going to become a great quarterback? You know, what are you doing to prepare shelf to become a great quarterback and not just, a good athlete in the NFL. Ask him himself. Stop going off of Joe Schmo told me this. He doesn't work hard. And then come out, oh, yeah, my sources were wrong the next day. Like, that's crap. No one wants to hear that. You're a reporter. This is what you do for a living. Get the facts right the first time. Justin Fields, we're going to talk about him when we talk about the Mac Jones comparison and what they're doing in the draft stock and all that. So we're not going to get into it too much right now. But, hey, he going to be in good hands in the league. And, his pro day proved that. But, yeah, man, you got to get it right the first time. You can't be coming out the next day after you made a bold statement like that, talking about, hey, he doesn't work hard and whatnot, and then apologize the next day. That's BS.
I think the other thing too with this, we constantly see this happen to the black quarterback, man. And
always,
even with the apology, I hope not, but you could see something like this affecting Justin Fields, and we talking about he in the second round or the third round getting drafted. And this is you shaking your head, Miles, but we've seen this happen before based off of bad people's reports. Again, the media has that power of creating the narrative. Hey, this person don't work hard. You can't say this about a quarterback that, hey, he's the last one in and the first one out, and it don't affect your draft stock some type of way. We could transition straight into Mac Jones right now. San Francisco moved up in the draft, and everybody's going to go see Mac Jones. There's already reports that Mac Jones is going to be drafted higher than Justin Fields.
Let them make that mistake.
And we already knew we had Justin Fields in the beginning, it was him and Trevor Lawrence. Little by little, Justin Fields is getting out of that conversation as even the top 3 quarterbacks getting drafted right
now. No. You don't think Dan Orlovsky knew that the source that told him that Justin Fields doesn't work hard, wanted him to fall, was feeding him false information so he can go on TV and spew it out so Justin Fields could fall to that team selfishly? You don't think that he knew that? He did it on purpose, bro. They do this all the time, and it's only with black quarterbacks. Every single time. It never fails with black quarterbacks, bro. Serious question. When have you ever heard them come out, the media come out, and bash a white quarterback's work ethic? When? It's never about that. It's always X's and O's. It's always, and by the way, they qualify everything. So if the guy's not a good deep ball thrower, he's a great student in the classroom. And if the guy can't hit a crossing route, then he's a guy who he goes to the orphanage and helps out kids in the weekends. They qualify every single time, bro. It's done. This is so strategic on their part, and it's evil, downright evil, because they're knocking this kid. They're costing him millions of dollars. Is what they're doing. The conversation was Justin Fields versus Trevor Lawrence forever. Mac Jones had nothing to do with this. Mac Jones was a guy who went to Alabama and played with great receivers, with a great O-line, and he managed the game. He did a great job managing the game. There was nothing special about Mac Jones. You watch him play, there's nothing special. I know people can come to me in the comments. I'm going to get ahead of this. I know I'm a Daniel Jones fan. I know Daniel Jones was taken high. I know he was taken over Dwayne Haskins. It happened to work out that Daniel Jones is better than Dwayne Haskins. I think we can say this. But, full disclosure, I wanted Dwayne Haskins. I didn't want Daniel Jones. I hadn't seen Daniel Jones play. It wasn't up until after I saw his film, after the Giants had made the selection, that I realized, Daniel Jones is actually pretty good at football. He just got a raw deal. He played in a bad team, but he can play. I don't see the special that I see with Daniel Jones that I see when I watch Mac Jones play. And it's so crazy that both the last names are Jones, by the way. I didn't realize that until just now. But I'm also saying, with Justin Fields, like, he's special. He's special. Like, it's written all over him, bro. He can make every throw on the field. He runs a 4.40. How are you knocking this guy? Like, in what world does this guy fall? They always fall. It's every time. Black quarterbacks always fall. They always seem to fall, bro. Every single time you find any excuse to knock them down a peg. That's what they do. Oh, he was a one-read quarterback is narrative right now, right? It was only, they say it's only six examples where he goes through all of his progressions in a play. His receivers get open. They win. Like, he doesn't have to go through his reads all the time. That doesn't mean he can't go through his reads. Like, what are we talking about right now? It's always a knock on the IQ, and it's always a knock on the work ethic with black quarterbacks, which you never see with white quarterbacks, ever. It's irresponsible. I've been seeing it all week. And Mac Jones, if San Fran takes Mac Jones over Justin Fields, so be it. So be it. It'll be their mistake. It'll be their mistake that they made. Right. And I know that Mac Jones is walking through a really good situation where he's gonna have all these playmakers, so he's gonna look good initially. Just gotta give it time to let it play out. But it's not even close. Who's more talented? Come on now, it's not even close. I don't think anyone can tell me. Seriously, tell me Mac Jones is better than Justin Fields. Please, I dare you, bro. Please don't come in the comments talking about that. Please, it don't make no sense. You know, everyone knows damn well that Justin Fields is a better player. I don't think there's any doubt about that. I think Justin Fields was the best quarterback in the draft. I think Trevor Lawrence overrated. Trevor Lawrence benefits from being a white quarterback with long blonde hair who can throw the ball hard. That's what it is, bro. I'm telling you, it's crazy. They talking about he's the best quarterback, best college quarterback ever. He's not better than Andrew Luck. He's not better than Deshaun. And by the way, just before I finish, they took Mitchell Trubisky over Deshaun Watson. Did they know Deshaun was Deshaun Cosby at the time? No. To quote you, they didn't know that. They didn't know that. There was nothing to knock Deshaun on. Okay, he beat Alabama. He was a baller, and they took Mitch over him. They'll find any excuse to put him at. And if you're one of those people who don't think racism exists in every prism of life, but especially in sports. It should be obvious. Go watch some Mac Jones tapes and watch some Justin Fields tape, and then tell me that these dudes aren't racist. Tell me that. That's what it is. Dan Orlovsky racist. Period. Pushing that narrative. That's irresponsible. That's irresponsible, yo. What else do you call it?
Irresponsible,
bro. Like, come on, son. That's crazy.
Jets have a number 2 overall pick. They are in need of a quarterback. San Fran moved up in the draft. They decided to trade with Dolphins. They got the number 3 overall pick in exchange for that 12th pick and some other picks in between, 3rd pick and whatnot, 3rd round. Those spots right there, number 2 and number 3, Miles. Both teams need quarterbacks. Jimmy G is not happy about San Fran moving up to get his future replacement. Who are you picking? Number 2 and number 3. Who are you picking? Does Justin Fields get picked in any of those 2 picks?
It should be the 3rd pick. I don't think he's – at this point, I don't think he's an option at number 2. I think he's an option for the 49ers. I think the Jets have already kind of decided that they're going to go with Zach Wilson, build around him. And I wouldn't be mad at either guy getting Fields or Zach Wilson. Like, Justin Fields he's a playmaker. Like, and who else is running a 4.4 40 like that in this draft or in the last couple drafts besides Lamar? So for San Fran, they had to have traded up. They didn't trade up for Zach Wilson. They traded up for a chance to get one of these top 3 quarterbacks. And I think Justin Fields, they don't need to overthink it. Like, Mac Jones is cool. He played on a good Alabama team, which, I mean, Alabama's good every year, so it's not like it's that hard for the quarterback to produce. So his stats this year are a little you take it with a grain of salt because he had the Heisman Trophy winner on his team. He also had Jalen Waddle, who, even though he got hurt, another elite receiver in this draft, another top 15 pick. So you got 2 receivers going top 15 for your team. I mean, Justin Fields, he would have had Chris Olave, but he didn't come out. Like, Justin Fields is going to be good in the league. So I don't get where everybody's up in arms about it. I know I'm getting off topic, but
no, you shouldn't. You should talk about it, bro.
Yeah, it's crazy because, I mean, Fields coming into college, I think he was either 1 or 2 in most of the high school rankings between him and Trevor Lawrence. Yeah. So it's like now you've seen his film, you start to overlook some things and overanalyze some things too. Like, he's a 1-read quarterback. I mean, like,
they're basing that just off the Northwestern game, which is crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah, and Northwestern had a top 5 defense in college football last year. So it's like
historically good every year.
Like, as if he can't have a bad game. He had to have a perfect game every year for him to be picked 2nd in this draft. While Trevor Lawrence, he didn't really play that well against Ohio State. So it's like he's still going number 1. People kind of overlook some of those bad games. And
Right.
Justin Fields has an off game in the Northwestern game.
And that's held against him as a cardinal sin, while Trevor Lawrence can go out there and be mediocre in big games. And you watch him play, there's a lot of times he doesn't wow you. This is so true. Wow, you're hitting the nail on the head. It's you can hold it against Justin, but you can't hold it against Trevor. Trevor's God sent. He came down here. He baby Jesus now out here. That's what they're anointing him as. It's crazy, bro. You can't say it's not racism. You can't say it.
It's definitely league wide. Reading all the reports that San Fran moved up to get Mac Jones.
Yeah,
it's league wide. That's the belief. And just another quote to put out there that's pushing the narrative, and I think is absolute nonsense. Chris Sims, who was a quarterback himself, Kyle Shanahan trying to control his own fate. You trade up to 3 for a quarterback who is NFL ready right now, not a project. And to him, he says that's Mac Jones. So that shows you right there. I'm not of the agreement, but that shows you right there. The narrative is being pushed. I don't think Justin Fields is not getting picked top 3, maybe top 4.
Trey Lance didn't get picked over him too. Yo, they black quarterbacks are always a project. When have you ever heard them say black quarterbacks are ready? Like when? When do they ever say it? I gotta think. You gotta think really hard. It shouldn't be this hard, bro. It shouldn't be this hard to find one. Like it's crazy. It's so obvious what they're doing, and people don't want to call a spade a spade. It's so wild to me. Like it's clearly race driven. And Dominique Foxworth was on TV this morning, and he pointed that out. Shout out to him on ESPN on Get Up. He said that a lot of this he said it in the cleanest way possible. You don't want to lose his job, keep getting them checks. I understand. But he said, a lot of this is race driven. A lot of this is race driven. Race plays a factor in the way that we evaluate these quarterbacks. 1,000,000%. So Trevor Lawrence's bad games don't count against him, but Justin Fields does. Zach Wilson's bad games don't count against him because he can throw the ball while skipping to his left and right, but Justin Fields can do the exact same thing, and it doesn't look as good. Justin Fields made the exact same throw that Zach Wilson did, and nothing. Crickets. I ain't hear nobody on TV talking about it, raving about it the same way. Ain't even blow up on Twitter the same way. Just think about it, bro. It's so obvious. It's right in front of us, bro. It's really crazy. Sports is just a smaller microcosm of the world. The world is racist. Sports is racist. So I always bring it back to race. It's just real. It's just the reality of it.
Exactly. Hey, Chris, before we transition to the next topic, so I think we're all in agreement. Top 3 picks, Justin Fields doesn't get picked. You got Atlanta at 4, who you might say needs a quarterback of the future. Your Bengals, y'all got your quarterback. Miami got their quarterback. 7, Detroit, guess they got their quarterback. 8, Carolina. I don't know if you got your quarterback. And Denver, who also is technically in need of a quarterback. Between 4 to 9, do you think he even gets picked in?
I think Carolina is definitely an option. Denver, I'm not sure if Denver goes ahead and takes a chance on him, or they think Locke's their guy and they grab a piece to go ahead and help him out because they got Jerry Jeudy now. So if they get him another wide receiver, maybe they can see something out of Locke. But I don't know, man. It's gonna be rough because we know he's not going number 1. We know it's Trevor Lawrence. We know probably Zach Wilson will probably go number 2 if they take a quarterback. Number 3, it sounds like the 49ers are hung up on Mac Jones after going to his pro day where he did play mediocre. He missed a few deep balls, 2 actually in a row, and then he was inconsistent to start off. But I mean that's a whole nother different. He's a pocket passer, and Shanahan had already said he's like, hey, I want someone that can do the run pass option. And if you want someone that can do the run pass option, Mac Jones is not your guy. The guy is right in front of you, and that's Justin Fields. So it sounds like they don't even know what they want. But apparently, Mac Jones is going to be their guy. But I think honestly, Justin Fields might fall past 9. He might fall past 9, but I will say this: whatever team gets him is going to be very, very pleased and very, very happy. And here's why I'm taking him over Jones. It's like that he's a bigger threat in terms of what he can do on the field. He can be a pocket passer if needed. He knows how to stand in the pocket. We've seen him take big hits. We've seen him complete the throws when the blitz is coming. He can kill teams in the RPO. The kid has a 4.43 speed. Not many quarterbacks and not many people in the league have that amount of speed. Like, just his ability to extend plays along with his legs and throw on the run. Like we said, we saw him make the same throw rolling out to his left, off balance, through the deep ball, that post corner in the end zone at his pro day. Same way Zach Wilson did, and feel like, oh yeah, he made a few good throws. But when Zach Wilson makes that throw, you see it on SportsCenter Instagram, you see it on Bleacher Report Instagram, it's everywhere. Justin Fields is the real deal. So hey, I mean, his mindset's right. You know, Justin Fields came out and said, hey man, you know, whatever team takes another quarterback over me, he's like, I hope I play them. That's all he said. He said, I'm gonna leave it at that. I hope I play them. And that's the right mindset, because he said, I'm the best quarterback in this draft. And he may be right. He may be, matter of fact, he is right. He is the best quarterback in this draft.
Well,
Trevor Lawrence
think
overrated on that bandwagon. Hey man, you gotta get a pull up for that. Trevor Lawrence overrated, bro. The lights get him.
I don't think he's overrated.
Justin Fields exposed him. We showed him he was overrated. His confidence was down, bro. He was sulking the game. Man.
Overrated, bro.
Hey Miles, talk to us. You don't think he's overrated?
I don't. I think in that Clemson-Ohio State game, Clemson's defense was awful all year. So I'm not discrediting Justin Fields at all. I think he made a lot of plays. He took a shot and finished the game and still was making plays. But like Trevor Lawrence was going up against that Ohio State defense, which they were actually pretty good, minus the championship game. They were pretty good this year. But I don't know. I think people can think he's overrated because they're saying he's the best in the last 20 years. But this kid went up against Alabama his freshman year and basically tore them to shreds as a true freshman. Not many true freshmen go on the national stage and just light it up like that. Like, he wasn't even the starter for most of the year, but they saw how good he was, and Kelly Bryant, wherever he is, he probably hates him more than Greg at this point. So it's like,
I don't hate him. I don't hate Trevor Lawrence, bro. I didn't think Trevor Lawrence benefits from being a white man who happens to look like most pictures of Jesus, which are inaccurate. Okay, that's really what Jesus was brown, by the way. All right, like we're gonna talk facts. All right, like, so it's crazy to me that he gets to be called the greatest college quarterback in the last 20 years, bro. Did y'all ever see Andrew Luck play? Andrew Luck. You ever saw him play at Stanford? How cold he was! Cold, bro. He was amazing, bro. It's not even close. It's not even close, bro. It's not even close between him and Andrew Luck, who's a better college quarterback. You kidding me, bro? Come on, son.
By the way, speaking of Fields and his combine run, the only quarterback to have a better run than him was actually not Lamar Jackson. It was Robert Griffin with a 4.41 back in 2012.
Lamar had ran a 4.2.
Never ran.
Lamar had ran a 4.2, bro. Lamar crazy.
Same with Mike Vick. So it's like,
Mike.
Yeah, I'm saying obviously what is on the combine. We know
what it is.
You know,
the streets know.
Vic was something completely different. And me personally, before we transition, I'm taking prime Vic over Lamar Jackson. That's just me. I'm taking prime Vic.
He's way better a passer than Lamar will ever be, I think.
Damn. I hope that's not true.
I hope it's not true too, but Mike Vick
but right now,
definitely one of the most gifted passers the league
of all time. He don't get credit for that. They don't talk about that either.
Because of them dogs. It's not
about them dogs. It's not about them dogs, bro. You know exactly why they don't talk about it. You know why they don't talk about it. He's made some of the greatest moves I've ever seen, bro. And they act like he just some dude who ran fast and had an incident with the dogs, bro. Man, I'm telling you, call a spade, bro. People out here is wild racist, perpetuating racist narratives out here.
Mike Vick was cool.
Telling you, bro.
Facts. Point blank period. Michael Vick was cold. There's no argument on that. No argument on that.
Best
NFL,
thrower.
We talked about it. It's official now. It's going to be a 17-game season. What do you think the implications of the 17-game season is? You see players, it's kind of mixed. They don't like it. Some players are cool with it. They're getting an extra $1 million because of that 1+ game. What are your thoughts on the approval of 17 games now?
Yeah, what's crazy about the 17-game season is one, it puts, not a damper, but it puts more stress on the players, right? To have to carry their season out longer. That's another week of traveling. That's another week of, game planning. And, it's towards obviously that 17th game is right before playoffs. And you saw it this past year with the Chiefs, the Chiefs clinched pretty early. So the past 2 games, they had Chad Henne start at quarterback. So it gives the players a time of rest, but at the same time, it also puts some L's on your record, if you're backup, if you want to rest your players for the playoffs and your squad, your main players like Pat Mahomes and Travis Kelce are going to be out, as of week 15. That's 2 games you got to depend on your second string and your backups to kind of carry the load. Not that it necessarily matters, but at the same time, you got to keep players from getting injured. But the one thing that I noticed about this 17-game season is that, a lot of these records are going to be broken. We're gonna have many new records, single season records for across all positions, right? The amount of catches a receiver gets, that's a whole extra game. The amount of sacks, you can run the sacks up by 3 in one game. Passing yards, you can run that up by 400. Players, these quarterbacks out here throwing for 400+ yards a game. There's going to be a lot of people that are record holders now that won't be record holders next year, just due to this extra game. So we're going to see that. We saw that years ago when it went from 14 games to 16 games, and that's going to be the case again. A lot of these people are going to be losing their titles for being record holders.
Miles, you a fan of the 17 games?
It doesn't really matter to me. I'm not playing in the league. I don't mind watching an extra week of someone.
You better be a fan.
Looking at the week 17 or week 18, whenever, some of those games are pretty good, like the Buccaneers against the Colts. That's another one that intrigues me. So you just get another week of possibly good matchups, and then coming down the stretch, like Greg was saying, like Chris was saying, you're gonna have guys sitting out, and I think more and more, if you're in a blowout situation during the season, you might have guys sitting like the second half, or they take a couple plays in the third quarter, but they're up by so much they don't need to play because they need to make it through the whole season. So I'm pretty sure there's one less preseason game. So it's like,
we're gonna see load management in the NFL now?
You could. I think that's a possibility. That's another game that they're going head to head with each other. That's tough. It's football. Injuries happen every week. I don't think there's ever been a week in the NFL where somebody doesn't leave a game because of an injury. It's the most violent sport in sports. So you're just adding one more week of violence to the season. And I don't know. I don't know if they're discussing it, but I definitely think that might be an option, is resting some of these players. You might sit them that 17th game or the last 2 games, especially if you, like he said, if you've locked up a spot. What am I playing you these last 2 games? We don't really need to win. We need you to be healthy for the playoff run.
True. For the teams that are dominant all year long, it might even be longer than that. If you clinch in week 12, right, or not, that might be a little too early, but if you clinch in week 13, 14, they might start sitting players out in week 14.
I think that they might still play a few snaps here and there, use those last couple games sort of how they do preseason. They play a series or 2, but this doesn't really matter for us. You got to still keep that chemistry, because if you've seen some of these teams that sit players that last week going into the playoffs are a little rusty going in. So you don't want that rust factor to come into play.
Greg, who does this benefit more, players or the owners?
Owners. This is selfish.
Why would you ask him that?
This
You knew the answer to that, and you wanted him to go off. Like,
I was gonna say regardless.
He's testing you. Yeah, he's testing you.
Come on, bro. They got the owners. Come on, it's selfish. This is greedy.
You know what he's doing.
Alvin Kamara had a reaction where he said, "This is some bull," so along those lines. I'm paraphrasing, and a fan slid in his DMs. All right, and basically said, you know, you're lucky to play this game. What happened to real football players? Yada yada. Meanwhile, the real football players he's talking about back in the 80s and 70s and all that stuff played 16 games, but you know they didn't play 17 games a year. This is new.
Not only that, they can't walk right now.
They can't walk. They have CTE. They got all different types of issues.
I think they played 14 games.
Yeah, I was about to say they played 14 games.
They played 14.
Oh, okay. But the real football players. All right, cool. So the crazy thing about this is unfair to the players. It's messed up. It's messed up. It's all built. It's all born of corporate greed. Except this time, the corporate greed is from these owners. This is going to be something that the NFLPA is going to fight about, I'm sure. It's good on paper for fans. Great, more football. They want to find ways to get more football for us and get us seeing more football. And I understand that, but this was not the right way to go about doing it. I would be lying to you if I said as a fan I wasn't excited to see more games, but I also don't think it's a really good thing for the league at all, even for fans. From a fan perspective, your favorite player may go down in week 17, may go down week 16, 17, especially if because most teams don't clinch that early. Only a couple teams do. You know what I'm saying? It won't. Right. You know what I'm saying? Only a couple teams clinch that early to where they can rest their players. That's not a luxury most teams have. So your star players are going to be out there for an extra week, taking an extra pounding, and the injury rate in the NFL is 100%. So this isn't as good as fans may think it is. It's all good until your quarterback goes down with an injury, or your running back, your star running back goes down, or your tight end. This is a pivotal part of your team. So it sucks. And from a Giants fan perspective, it sucks even more because I wanted to wrap up that division in 16 weeks, and I gotta wait an extra week to wrap it up and celebrate. So it just delays the celebration for me. But hey, man, it's completely born out of just complete greed from the owners. But hey, man, listen, it is what it is. We saw it coming. It's gonna be a fight though.
From the fan perspective, as Miles mentioned, there are some pretty exciting games that they have out there. I want to hear from y'all. What games are you looking forward to most if you had to pick 2 or 3? You got Packers at Chiefs, Bears at Raiders, Vikings at Chargers, Lions at Broncos, Cowboys at Patriots, Eagles at them Jets, Seahawks at the Steelers, Washington at the Bills, Giants at the Dolphins, Buccaneers at Colts, Saints at Titans, just to mention a few, 49ers at Bengals. Which of these games, I didn't even mention all of them, which of these games are y'all looking forward to the most to watch? Just on a fan aspect.
Giants, Dolphins, because your man Miles over here was talking better. And when Daniel Jones walks into that week 17 with having thrown 34 touchdowns to 35 touchdowns in a year and only having like 7 picks, and meanwhile Tua over here is going through the sophomore slump that quarterbacks go through, then what? What are we gonna talk about? They got Galladay. They got all these pieces. Yo, man, don't let me be right about.
I go from talking about the schedule to talking about the Giants
because the Giants are on the schedule, and you asked me about a game. I'm excited about a specific game because you're talking that trash, huh?
All the teams are on the schedule. Oh, you're giving your games that you want. All right.
Yes. You was talking that trash. Giants, Dolphins. Here's our chance right here. We're gonna get a matchup. This is gonna be the first matchup of their respective careers. And I'm telling you, Daniel Jones will outgun him. And I'm telling you, Daniel Jones will have a better season than Tua this year.
We'll see.
You can bet that. It's right. It's done, bro. I'm telling you, bro. Don't let me be right about Daniel Jones, bro. Y'all not gonna like me. They don't like me now. They're really not gonna like me if Daniel Jones is nice.
On that game, right? Giants, Dolphins. Where are they playing?
In Miami.
In Miami.
Okay, so they playing in Miami. The only thing that I think you should be concerned about, and I'm just saying this as a friend, the Dolphins moved back because they weren't worried about getting the quarterback, right? They moved back to the 12th pick, but they traded and got the 6th pick. So now they have the 6th pick and the 18th pick. You know they're getting some wide receivers. So although y'all got Galladay still got to prove himself after being injured last year. But hold up. It's going to be scary hours for you. Hold up. I'm not playing with you. It's going to be scary hours for y'all if the Dolphins go ahead and Tua doesn't hit that sophomore slump, right? Tua, let's say Tua is balling all season, like playing good, playing as we expect Tua to play, right? And now they have, let's say they get Jamar Chase at number 6, right? Or Devontae Smith or somebody of that caliber. And then they go ahead and get another wide receiver at 18, maybe like a Jalen Waddle or somebody like that.
You ain't getting Jalen Waddle 18, you know it. Stop playing. Stop playing, bro. It's long as hell. Yo, wait. The Giants also will have the best. Giants won't just have an ascending quarterback who will be in the conversation for a top 12 spot in the NFL in terms of being a quarterback. He'll be a top 12 to top 12 to top 10 quarterback next year. David Jones. No BS.
10, you reaching.
No BS.
I'm going to say the best receiver, too. Wow.
Kirk Cousins was top 12 a couple years ago. So, yes, David Jones will be top 12. But they'll also have the best passing defense in the NFL. Because last year they had a great one. And they only added to it with Adoree Jackson. And they got Xavier McKinney who's going to play a full year. Y'all don't know Xavier McKinney yet. The Giants fans do know. He's special.
We know him from Alabama. We know him.
All right, yeah. So Miles, we don't know him. Miles actually not unimpressed.
I know who that is.
All right, I'm making sure. So I'm saying to you, listen, they won't be able to lock up whoever they put out there. And I know Jamar Chase is a freak, but I got Bradbury, the kind of corner you need to guard a guy like Jamar Chase. And he's not getting Waddle, so I'm not really tripping off that.
I would take Pitts if I was them.
So is there any other games outside of the Giants-Dolphins games that interest y'all?
Not for Greg, no. But
no, that's not true. The Bucks versus the Colts is interesting because I think it'll be really interesting to see how the Bucks will be playing for a playoff spot in Week 17. It won't be resting their players at that time, so that would be fun too.
That's a bold prediction right there.
That would be fun because they'll still be playing for one. They'll be playing for one of them wild cards.
Another Tom Brady slate. You on a roll today? You on a roll today?
Crazy.
Hey, bro. Hey, it's got to happen. The other shoes got to drop at some point. All right, and I think that this year you're gonna start to see a little bit. All right, but that's all. Hey, listen, we'll see. They brought back all their starters, right? So they'll be playing for a playoff spot.
Miles, Chris, any games for y'all?
I mean, I already said Buccaneers, Colts. I think that's going to be a good one. We'll see how Carson Wentz is playing by then.
That'd be interesting, though, too.
Who else? I would say Packers, Chiefs, but I could see them both sitting their starters by this point. Like, they'll both have won the division by then. So what's the point? But that's kind of what people would want to see in the Super Bowl. They want to see Rodgers versus Mahomes. So it would be nice to see those two guys go at it. We'll see. Let the chips fall where they may. And then definitely not Giants, Dolphins. But
you better watch that because you're talking all that trash. You can't do that. You might as well bring up the Jets. You rather watch Giants, Dolphins than watch the Jets play next year. I'll tell you that right now.
And I could see Rams, Ravens being a good game too. Because Stafford, I think he's going to change that team.
The Rams are
the sleeper.
I don't think the Ravens are going to be the same team that we thought they was going to be. They wasn't impressive last year. I don't think they're going to be impressive this year either. I think the Ravens are going to take a back seat in the AFC North, and yeah, man, I think that game might be a blowout.
Real quick before we transition, who do you think winning the AFC North? Is the Ravens is taking a step back? Steelers.
I think the Browns got it this year.
Browns got it.
I think the Browns got it this year.
Very sustainable what they built there. So I think the Browns would win that again. But hey, who knows? Lamar might come. If the Ravens draft Rashad Bateman, I may feel different because Rashad Bateman's that guy. No one talks about him. He ran a 4.40. The analysts, the experts, were saying he's gonna run a 4.6. He ran a 4.40 at his pro day in Minnesota.
Lamar hitting him on that deep ball though?
Huh?
Is Lamar hitting him on that deep ball?
Yeah, Lamar throws a good deep ball. What are you talking about? He threw a good deep ball.
Consistently?
That's it.
Huh?
No, I'm saying they need a new coordinator because that just option.
It's a little. I mean, you got to run the option. You can't not run the option with Lamar Jackson being your quarterback.
That's their bread and butter.
Yeah, but then this underneath throws, they don't take any shots downfield. So it's like it's a real predictable offense. So
I mean, Hollywood wasn't getting over the top anymore. Hollywood was suddenly not so Hollywood last year. It just all came to it kind of all fell apart. He was dropping balls. It was a mess.
He's getting pressed up at that line. That's what it was.
Yeah, he's small. So you get Rashad, who's a big physical guy, who get downfield and make contested catches. I like him. He's one of my favorite wide receivers in this entire class. So watch out for that. If they get him, I think they'll be cooking with some gas.
We're gonna end off the show with this one. I saw this report come out, and I thought it would be cool to have this conversation of creating your ideal defensive back. We've mentioned it throughout the show. Greg has mentioned, we got cornerbacks in the Giants that are physical and tough. Something that came about. Mark Gilbert, the cousin of Darrelle Revis, ran a 4.36. He was considered a potential first-round pick 2 years ago before he suffered back-to-back injuries, and the man came out and ran a 4.36. If you had to draft your ideal defensive back, you're on Madden right now, creating your ideal defensive back. Are you going with height? You want speed? What's the height? Do you want speed or strength? Do you want them to be able to get them interceptions? Or you want them to have that tackling, hard hitting, kind of like a Jamal Adams? And would you want them to be able to play zone or man more so?
I'm gonna break it down for you. I've been waiting all night for this damn topic. I'm gonna break it down for you. First of all, shout out to Reeves' cousin for running that 4.3 because that's pretty impressive, and I'm sure it proved a lot of people wrong too, coming off those 2 back-to-back injuries. But if we talk about size, when you look at the cornerback position, you don't need to be 6'4", you don't need to be the tallest corner. Yeah, you're gonna go up against some wide receivers who are 6'5", but at the same time, like not many wide receivers in the league are 6'5" plus. There's not a lot. So the size that you want to be for corner, in my opinion, I think anywhere between 6 and 6'2" is good. The smallest corner that's been in the league, I think, was 5'9", but some notable names that have been between 6'1" and 6'2" have been Stephon Gilmore, Patrick Peterson, Darrelle Revis, Richard Sherman, Champ Bailey. Champ Bailey was a dog. And then obviously you want the cornerback to have strength. And here's the thing about cornerbacks. If a quarterback is strong and he's playing you man coverage, and even if he's dropping back in his zone and he's pressing you at the line, people like Aqib Talib used to do that a lot. Josh Norman in his prime used to do that a lot. Jalen Ramsey does it now. Something about those 3 guys that I just said, Talib, Norman, and Ramsey, all 3. I know we don't swear on this podcast, but I gotta let this one fly. All 3 of those guys, they're shit talkers. They bring that energy at the line, and they're physical with you up front. And that's what you need as a cornerback. You need to be physical right from the jump because, let me tell you something about receivers. They do not like being assaulted at the line. And I say assaulted because a lot of times we just talked about Hollywood Brown. He gets held up at the line. He's small and he's frail. Yeah, he's quick, but if you get your paws on him and you jack him up and you get in his chest, one of the main reasons that receivers and cornerbacks get into fights on the field and you see them oftentimes is because that receiver got punked. He either got hit, someone was being too physical with him and he didn't like it. So I think physicality is a huge part as to why cornerbacks in the NFL are successful. Is because one they can jack you up at the line, but obviously you want them to have ball hawk skills, good tracking skills when the ball's in the air, right? If they're running with their back to the ball and they turn around, you want them to be able to locate that ball pretty quickly. If you're 6'1" and 6'2", like I said, like we talked about with height, you're oftentimes going to have long arms and be able to, reach out and deflect balls and whatnot. And obviously you want to have the ability to recover, right? One thing that's, I could care less about the Jamal Adams. He's a safety and whatnot. What Jamal Adams does is incredible. Plays in the box a lot, able to blitz and get sacks on the quarterbacks. But again, he's a safety. For cornerbacks, man, I don't need you to be the quickest guy. You're already playing 7 yards off the ball if you're in coverage. You just got to have good footwork and good hips. I think good hips is one of the key skills that you need to have as a cornerback, especially in the NFL, because if you're backpedaling, right, and the guy is doing a post route, and you got to be able to open up your hips and run with him. Some of those guys take off. A guy like Hollywood Brown, right, especially if you're playing off and you're in cover 3, and he opens up and starts going towards the middle of the field, you got to be able to open your hips, turn with him. But then if he breaks that off and goes into a post corner, you got to be able to spin 180 degrees and keep your balance and stay on your feet and run with him while looking back at the ball too. So, those are just a few of the qualities that, I think a good corner in this league will have. Or
do y'all have any disagreements with Chris, do y'all have anything that y'all look for differently? Y'all want speed instead? Y'all want somebody that can hit hard? What are y'all viewpoints on it? Are we all in the same page of the man who actually played that position, who actually played on the defensive side and is a legend at what he does?
Stop, Cap.
Y'all have
anything? First of all, Chris be holding. Let me tell you that. I beat him I beat him on a fly route. He didn't want to talk about that. I beat him on a fly route, but he was holding me, bro. I burnt him. I got beat by Jimmy. He hit me. I'm not gonna lie.
What is this man talking about?
He's strong. He's strong, bro. I'm not gonna lie. No cap. You're strong, but you definitely was holding, bro. But on a whole different note, I had you, bro. But on a whole different note, if you're gonna talk about the perfect corner, Jalen Ramsey, bro. Jalen Ramsey's the perfect corner. When I saw this on the doc, I was like, yo, it's Jalen. It's Jalen Ramsey. Jalen Ramsey is big enough to jam you the line, be physical. He's strong enough to tackle you well. I mean, we saw him put Golden Tate in the dirt. That was an incredible.
And they got in a fight after that. You see what I'm saying?
Yes. Now, the problem with guy Jalen Ramsey is he can't cover Tyreek Hill. He can't. Tyreek Hill's just too fast. We've seen the matchup before. It didn't really work out in his favor. But he's still fast. He's just not quick. He's just not as quick. He's still he's quick, but those fast, twitchy guys, you want a guy like a Adoree Jackson. Just not who's fast and can run side by. And don't do that, Miles. Yo, don't do that, Miles. Because no BS for real. No BS because yo, don't do that.
Miles is top 5. Greg said something.
Yo, Miles about to fall out of his chair.
Don't do that. Because he covered Tyreek Hill. There's film on that, and he did a damn good job covering Tyreek Hill. It's well known, okay? If he was still on the Titans and I brought him up, it wouldn't be no big deal because he's a giant now. It's a problem. Nah, bro. He's fast. He's super fast and quick twitch. He has that. So your perfect corner would be big like Jalen Ramsey, physical like Jalen Ramsey, and can open a foot, has great hips like him, but fast and twitchy at the same time. And that's a rare blend. You don't get a guy who's 6'2", 6'1", who can move like that. It's not as common, but that's what you want, I feel like, because you can jam your line, you can play off, you can, a lot of things you can do.
The one thing about Jalen Ramsey, too, which a lot of these sorry corners can't do, is tackle an open field one-on-one.
Yeah, you can do that.
Jalen Ramsey, you never hear the commentators talk about that. Guy like Drake Kirkpatrick, this man getting stiff arm halfway across the field. I don't even want to get into it because he made me mad, but a lot of cornerbacks be diving at the ankles. Nah, Jalen Ramsey come up to you, break down, and lift you up and toss you on the ground. Done that to Golden Tate multiple times. Obviously, they have a history with we're not even gonna get into that, but
yeah. we not gonna get into that. Hey, Mom, give me your thoughts. Ideal, perfect cornerback. Are you going to say Darrelle Revis? What's you talking?
Yeah, I'm going to say Darrelle Revis. That's
all right. So we can say Darrelle Revis, but I can't say Adoree Jackson.
But that's different. He ain't been in the league for about 3-4 years now. He's a legend. Adoree Jackson.
I ain't calling no legend. Let's not no misinformation. Yo, he gonna cut this tape, make you look like an idiot. That's not what happened. I never brought up Adoree Jackson as a perfect corner. I just use him as an example for speed. That's it, for speed. Listen to the damn podcast. All right, go ahead.
Nah, I feel like the deal would be Darrelle because a lot of these schemes now, they run more zone than man. Like when Revis was out there, he was on an island. It was man every time, and he's going up against the best receiver every time. And I just feel like if you want the perfect corner, Darrelle Revis is that perfect corner. Nobody would take a chance on him on Sundays because they knew there's no point in throwing over there. He's on his hip every time. But if I had to add to Darrelle, I'd probably add maybe Deion's speed and ball skills, and then maybe Cromartie's athleticism because
I was thinking about him too.
He's the most athletic cornerback I feel like that's ever played in this league, making one-handed catches. Vertical's probably over 40, lengthy as hell. So it's if you could add to Revis, that's what I would give him. And that would probably be the greatest cornerback to ever play.
Hey, another great episode. I'm going to get the floor to Greg. Take us home, Greg.
Hey, man, listen. You want me to close the way you close it?
You close it up. You already know the vibes, bench
You already know
mob.
the
You know,
vibes.
if you stay ready, you don't got to get ready. But
That's a fact.
the floor is yours. You get the last word.
The last word, bro. I feel like there was something I wanted to talk about going into the show today, and I'm just blanking on what it is now, and it's really annoying me.
Is it a Dory Jackson?
Huh?
Is it a Dory Jackson?
No, it's not. Shut up. No. It just hit me. Hey, we posted that clip of Ant Edwards talking about RJ Barrett yesterday, bro. We talk about that. That was pure entertainment. I want to pose this question to the listeners before I head out of here. Who's the more offensively talented player between RJ Barrett and Ant Edwards? I think we're gonna be real surprised about the answers we get here. I'm not gonna give y'all my take. If you listen to the show, you know how I feel already. You already know what it is. All right. But I want to hear y'all takes on that as well. But no, I said my piece today. I got my words in, man. So I feel good closing the show out on that. I want to hear what people say. Put that post up, bro.
You would think RJ's been on 5 title runs and switched a couple teams by now. The way he gets attacked on this show, it's crazy.
I ain't even attack him. I asked a question. And by the way, I didn't even do the attacking. And did the attacking. Anthony Edwards is the reason why we're having this conversation. Okay, and it's a fair one.
But you loved it. You loved him saying that too.
Oh hell yeah, I did. Hell yeah, I did.
Hey yo,
hell yeah.
Bitch mob, we out. Peace.
When I heard him say that, I was like, I know Greg